Wahyu stood at the edge of his late grandmother's house, staring at its worn wooden frame cloaked in vines. The air held a sharp chill, unusual for the season, as if something unseen lingered in the shadows. Inside, the house breathed with silence. Every step echoed on the wooden floor. Wahyu brushed aside dusty curtains, revealing rooms preserved in time. But beneath the stillness, something felt off. He remembered his childhood summers here, and the one room he was forbidden to enter. The one with the black door at the end of the hall, always sealed, always cold to the touch. While rummaging through the attic, Wahyu found a velvet-lined wooden box hidden behind a stack of old books. Inside was a large antique iron key, etched with strange symbols that glowed faintly in the dark. He held the key tightly, an unexplained dread washing over him. The house groaned softly as if reacting to his discovery, the floorboards creaking in places where no one walked. Driven by unease, Wahyu descended the stairs in the dead of night. The key grew hot in his pocket as he neared the forbidden door. The air thickened like walking underwater. Standing before the black door, his breath grew shallow. The key slid perfectly into the lock. It turned with a reluctant click, like awakening something that had slept for decades. The door creaked open, revealing not a room, but a long, narrow corridor lined with ancient wallpaper and candle sconces that lit themselves as he stepped inside. Wahyu hesitated, but the key seemed to tug him forward. Behind him, the door slammed shut, locking him inside. He was alone in a corridor that shouldn't exist. The hallway twisted impossibly, its length defying the house's dimensions. Portraits lined the walls. Some of people Wahyu recognized, others whose eyes moved as he passed. The corridor ended at a spiral staircase descending deep underground. As Wahyu stepped down, he noticed the walls changed, from wallpapered wood to damp, cold stone. At the bottom, he found a chamber filled with clocks, all ticking at different tempos. One had no hands but was spinning rapidly, emitting a strange mechanical whisper. In the center stood a desk with his grandmother's journal. Its pages were filled with cryptic entries about the door that keeps the past, and warnings never to unlock it. A shadow passed behind him. When he turned, no one was there. But the journal flipped open on its own, revealing a drawing of the same key now in Wahyu's possession. He heard soft weeping echoing through the corridors. Following it, Wahyu entered a room with mirrors on every wall, each reflecting a different version of himself, some older, some dead. The reflections began to speak, each one whispering a warning in unison. "Close the door before it remembers you." Their voices echoed inside his skull. Panicking, Wahyu fled the mirror room, only to find himself in a library with books written in languages he couldn't read. Some pages turned on their own, revealing images of monstrous figures behind doors. He found a map hidden in one of the books, a layout of the underground chambers. At the center was a symbol matching the one on his key, an eye surrounded by thorns. The more he explored, the more he realized the underground wasn't just beneath the house. It shifted, expanded, defied logic. He was no longer in his world. Suddenly, a clock struck 3:33. Every door around him opened simultaneously. From each emerged tall, hooded figures whose faces were veiled in smoke. The figures didn't attack. Instead, they stood in silent rows, watching Wahyu. One pointed toward a doorway marked Memory Vault. Against his instincts, he entered. Inside, Wahyu relived childhood moments, his grandmother whispering lullabies, warning him of things beneath the house. "One day the key will choose you," she once said. A hidden drawer beneath a memory chest opened, revealing a photo of his mother, pregnant and crying, standing next to the same black door. She too had known. Wahyu realized this wasn't just his journey. His family had protected the secret of the door for generations. But someone or something had broken the pact. The hooded figures began to chant, the language foreign yet eerily familiar. The room darkened as the walls around him began to breathe. A trapdoor beneath Wahyu's feet opened, dropping him into a pit of black water. He emerged in another corridor, this one filled with decayed furniture and floating candles. The air here was acidic. Whispers scratched at his mind. Return the key, return the key. But he didn't know where to return it, or to whom. He found a mural on the wall, depicting a door sealed by 5 guardians. Each guardian wore a different mask. One of them resembled his grandmother. A voice spoke directly into his mind. You are the 6th. The cycle must not break. Then silence. Wahyu was chosen. But for what? His hands began to tremble uncontrollably. The key glowed red-hot, burning symbols into his palm. Blood dripped onto the floor, forming a map. The blood map led to a room filled with clocks, all frozen at the same time. 4:44. In the center stood a coffin sealed with iron chains and a lock matching his key. Against his better judgment, Wahyu unlocked it. Inside lay a version of himself. Eyes open, lips moving silently. Suddenly, he sat up and gasped. The doppelganger screamed, "You shouldn't be here!" Then disintegrated into black ash. The chamber shook violently. Wahyu fled through the collapsing halls, chased by walls that moved like muscle and bone. The house was alive and angry. He stumbled into a room with a massive mirror. It didn't show his reflection, but a swirling vortex of memories. Some his, some not. The key began pulling him toward the mirror. With no choice, Wahyu stepped through and was hurled into a blinding white space filled with fragmented realities. Each shard revealed a possible outcome of his life. In some, he never found the key. In others, he died long ago. Only one path showed him sealing the door again. The key floated in front of him. Whispering voices guided his hand. Choose, Wahyu. Choose the ending. He reached out and touched the shard with the sealed door. In an instant, he was back in front of the black door in the real house, the key still in his hand. It hadn't yet been opened. This time he stepped back. He walked away. The house groaned, disappointed but respectful. The door remained shut. Wahyu buried the key in the backyard under the old jasmine tree where his grandmother used to sit. As the soil covered it, the air grew still again. He moved out the next day, leaving the house to the silence. But something had changed in him, something he couldn't explain to anyone. Weeks later, he received a letter with no return address. Inside was a photo of the black door. On the back were words, "It never stays closed." That night, he dreamed of the mirror realm again. Only this time, the shard showing the sealed door was cracked. He woke up gasping. On his nightstand was the iron key, clean, unburnt, and colder than ice. Wahyu left the key untouched. But each night it moved slightly. One day on the desk, the next in his coat pocket. It was waiting. He researched his grandmother's life and found others, relatives who'd vanished or gone mad. All had lived in that house. All had opened the door. He began writing everything down, every vision, every memory. It became his obsession. But even he didn't believe anyone would understand. As he finished his journal, he heard the door creak in a house hundreds of miles away. A chill ran through him. He wasn't safe. He never had been. The last page of his journal read, "The door never opened. And that's the worst part. It's still waiting for the next one."